Hi, the topic of this lesson is adjacent and vertical angles. Let's take a look at these two angles. Angle AOB and angle BOC. What's interesting about them? These angles have one common side, OB, and the sides AO and OC lie on the same straight line, or in other words, they are continuations of each other. So, two angles with one common side, and the other two sides that are a continuation of each other are called adjacent. That is, angle AOB and angle BOC are adjacent angles. Actually, you see that adjacent angles are obtained if we have some straight angle, AOC, and it is divided by a ray into some two angles. Such two angles will be adjacent. We know that angle AOC will be equal to the sum of angles AOB and BOC. That is, angle AOC is an angle, AOB plus angle BOC, because it consists of these two angles. But angle AOC is a straight angle, its measure is 180. So it will be equal to 180. Thus we've got such an important expression. Namely, the sum of adjacent angles is always equal to 180 degrees. Let's take a look at an example. How can we use this to solve problems? Let's say we have two adjacent angles, and we know that one angle is 2 times larger than the other. It is required to find these angles. If we have one angle 2 times larger than the other, then let's denote the smaller angle as x, and the larger angle will be 2x. The sum of adjacent angles, 2x plus x, is 180 degrees. From here we can easily find that x is equal to 60. If one angle is 60, then the second angle is 120. Thus we have found these two adjacent angles. Now let's consider these two angles. Let's suppose we have an angle AOB and an angle COE. What can be said about the angles AOB and BOC? What is remarkable is that the continuation of the side of one angle is the continuation of the sides of the other angle. That is, the sides AO and OD are a continuation of each other. Sides BO and OC are also a continuation of each other. So two angles, sides of which are a continuation of each other, are called vertical. That is, the angle AOB and the angle COD are vertical. Actually, if you look closely at this figure, you will see that there are more vertical angles. Namely, angle AOC and BOD are also vertical. That is, angle AOC is the vertical angle to angle BOD. That is, they are also vertical. Thus we get vertical angles by moving two straight lines, and two opposite angles will be vertical in this case. An important property of such angles is that these vertical angles are equal. That is, angle AOB is equal to angle COD, and angle AOC is equal to angle BOD. Let's prove it. Let's call this angle 1 for convenience. This is angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. Now let's consider this angle, BOC. It is straight. If we mentally close it with our hand, then we just get a straight angle, but angle 1 and angle 2 will be adjacent. So their sum, that is, angle 1 plus angle 2, will be equal 180 degrees. If we look this way, that is, close it with our hand, then angle 2 and angle 3 will also be adjacent. So their sum will also be equal to 180 degrees. This shows that if we express angle 1, then we get 180 minus angle 2. Let's write it down. Angle 1 will be equal to 180 minus angle 2. Similarly, if we express angle 3, then we get 180 minus angle 2. These two angles have equal right sides, so the left parts are also equal. From this it follows that angle 1 is equal to angle 3, just the same way angle 1 is equal to angle 3, so the vertical angles are equal. It is similarly proved that angle 2 is equal to angle 4. This is the most important property of vertical angles. Let's take a look at an example. When crossing two straight lines, one of the angles turned out to be 30 degrees. Let's say this one. It is required to find all the other angles. How can we achieve this? This angle is 30 degrees. So vertical to it, this angle will also be 30 degrees. How can we find this angle? We are looking at this angle, precisely this angle. That is, these two angles are adjacent. Their sum is 180. This angle is 30, which means 150 remains at this angle. But this angle is vertical with this angle, so this angle is 150 as well. Thus, knowing only one angle of the vertical ones, we have found all the other angles. Let's solve this problem. Let one of the vertical angles be 10 degrees greater than the other. It is required to find all angles. Now let's suppose we denote this smaller angle as x, and it is said that one of the vertical angles is 10 greater than the second. Which of these angles is 10 greater than x? Obviously that it cannot be this angle, because it is vertical to this. This one is x as well. So this angle is 10 degrees greater. It is x plus 10. Likewise, because these are vertical angles, there is x plus 10. How do we find x? We can find it very easily. These two angles are adjacent, so their sum is 180. That is, x plus 10 degrees plus x is equal to 180 degrees. From here we find that 2x is equal to 170 degrees. Thus x is equal to 85 degrees. If x is 85 degrees, then this angle is 95 degrees. This angle is also 85, and this one is also 95. In this way we have found all the vertical angles. This video lesson is over.